David sat in the front pew, his chest swelling with pride. 20 years of parenting led to this moment. His son Marcus looked nervous but radiant in his tuxedo, waiting at the altar as the organ played. David wiped his eyes. Single dad. Raised Marcus alone after his wife passed. They made it together. The bride's music began. Middle, the first sight, then she appeared. The bridesmaids came first. Then the bride Emma, beautiful in white, smiling toward Marcus. But behind her, one of the bridesmaids made David's breath catch in his throat. It couldn't be. The bridesmaid had the same distinctive nose as Marcus. The same sharp cheekbones. The same way of tilting her head when she smiled. She was maybe 19, 20 years old, with dark hair pulled back elegantly. But more than that, she had the exact same small scar above her left eyebrow that Marcus got when he was 7, falling off a bike. The exact same scar in the exact same spot. David's hands started shaking. He pulled out his phone, scrolling through photos frantically, a picture of Marcus as a kid. He looked at the bridesmaid again. The resemblance was undeniable. His neighbor leaned over. Everything okay? David couldn't answer. During the ceremony, David couldn't focus. He watched the bridesmaid instead. She cried when Marcus and Emma exchanged vows. She hugged Emma backstage during photos. She belonged there, but she looked like she could belong in his family. At the reception, David made his move. He found Emma's mother during the toasts. That bridesmaid, he said carefully. The tall one with dark hair. Where's she from? Emma's mom smiled. Oh, that's Sophie. She's actually adopted. We got her from the system when she was a newborn. She came from the same foster agency Marcus did. I think Emma mentioned that. David's world tilted. 22 years ago, David had been at that same foster agency. Before adopting Marcus, he'd almost adopted another child, a baby girl, but the paperwork fell through. The agency said there were complications, health issues, they couldn't place her. So David got Marcus instead, a toddler, a few months older. He'd never known what happened to that baby girl. David quietly excused himself. In the bathroom, his hands shook as he called the foster agency after hours hotline, left a message. An email came back within minutes. They kept his file active for alumni inquiries. He typed, "Did I almost adopt a female infant in 2003? What happened?" The response came at 11 p.m. "We can arrange a call. But yes, we have a record." That adoption fell through due to medical hold. The child was eventually placed with the Thompson family. Sophie Thompson, adopted 2003. Sophie Thompson. The bridesmaid in his son's wedding. David found her during the cake cutting. Up close, he could see it clearly now. The family resemblance to Marcus was impossible to deny. "Sophie?" His voice cracked. "Can we talk privately for a moment?" They stepped into the hallway. David's hands were still shaking. "This is going to sound strange," he began. "But I think we have a connection. A long time ago, before I adopted your brother, before I adopted Marcus, I almost adopted you. The papers fell through, and I never knew what happened. I never knew you existed." Sophie's face went pale. "Wait, you're the one who almost—" "I think so. Yes." Tears streamed down Sophie's face. "My parents have always told me I had a family who wanted me. They said he never forgot. They told me to believe in fate. I've always wondered—" They hugged in the hallway, crying. 5 minutes later, David walked Sophie back into the reception where Marcus stood. He pulled his son aside and told him everything. Marcus's jaw dropped. "Wait, you're saying Sophie is— I don't know what to call it," David said. "But yes. Your sister chose your bride, and we chose each other, just separated by 20 years in circumstance." The three of them stood together, David, Marcus, and Sophie. The DNA tests would confirm what they already felt. Sophie shared no biological relation to Marcus. It was pure coincidence, pure cosmic alignment. But the foster agency had the same genetic marker test on file. They compared notes. Marcus and Sophie weren't siblings by blood, but they shared something rarer. They were both the daughters and son of a man who would have loved any child brought to him. In the final wedding photo, David stands between Marcus and Sophie, his biological son and the daughter he almost had now reunited across decades. Marcus has his arm around Sophie. She's looking at David with wonder. Sophie leans in and whispers, "Dad told me he never stopped thinking about you." David's voice breaks. "I never stopped thinking about the little girl who got away. I just didn't know she was beautiful and 22 and dancing at my son's wedding. Sometimes families find each other twice. The first time we're chosen. The second time we're destined.